Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you a 2012 team preview for the Atlanta Falcons. So let's start with their offense to see what we can expect the Falcons to look like this upcoming season. The Falcons got themselves a pretty good quarterback in Matt Ryan. There's a lot to like about what he brings to the table. This guy is an accurate passer, he's a true leader, and he does a great job of getting everyone involved in the passing game. What he has to improve, and it's vital for the Falcons' success, he has to make sure he takes more shots downfield. Now, I don't know if that was partly on his fault for not being able to take the chance, or partly due to the fact that they had limited offensive play calling for shots downfield. But either way, there's a new offensive coordinator in there. Dirk Cutter is now the OC. So we're going to see a different type of Matt Ryan. But if the same Matt Ryan of years past show up to Atlanta this year, then it's just going to be more of the same, more of the short to intermediate passing game, not a lot of the deep passes. If the Falcons are able to incorporate the deep ball to their passing attack, this could be one of the more dangerous in the league. Falcons hang their hat on the ground game, and that's all on the shoulders of Michael Turner. This big, bruising running back, 5'10", 245 pounds, does a great job of keeping the offense on pace and shrinking the game as well. And that's why the Falcons play a lot of close games, not because they can't put up points, because they do a great job of owning the time of possession. It all falls on Mr. Turner right there. And quiet is kept. The Falcons have outstanding depth in the backfield. They add a fullback in Brady Ewing coming from the University of Wisconsin, tremendous blocker. So that means you're going to see more of Jason Snelly in the backup role, more of a backup fullback, one back, ace back type of situation. But look for Jaquiz Rogers, the diminutive guy out of Oregon State, to get more carries. So the Falcons have a lot of depth and a lot of talent in the backfield. In my opinion, the Falcons have one of the more impressive receiving corps in the National Football League. You saw what they were able to get out of rookie Julio Jones last year. He showed a lot of physicalness after the catch. He just have to make sure he shake those nagging hamstring injuries. And it's unfortunate when you got a fast guy like that, they're going to have those injuries routinely throughout their career. But you also have to like Roddy White, productive receiver. He just has to control his mental lapses throughout the ballgame where he'll drop an easy pass. But there's no doubt in his talent. He can make the big plays for the Falcons passing game. And the future Hall of Famer Tony Gonzalez, one of the premier tight ends we've ever seen in the league, one of the best tight ends ever, does a great job of owning the middle of the field. And you can't say enough of the production of Harry Douglas. This guy came in and was the quintessential slot wide receiver. Showed quickness off the line of scrimmage, quickness once he has the football in his hands, and a burst to get down the field. So when you look at the Falcons receivers as a group, if they incorporate the deep passing game, like I keep mentioning, they own the short to intermediate. The deep ball is something that's missing. If they can incorporate that, this can be a dangerous unit. The Falcons' offensive line has to be the question mark of this entire offense. And you look at where they went in the draft. They drafted Peter Collins, a guard center guy out of Wisconsin. He can play both, so he gives you that scheme versatility. But you look at Sam Baker. That's where the question is, can he get back to the premier level he was a couple years ago when he was a rookie, second year in the league? But those injury problems to the back and to the elbow has really limited his effectiveness. He may even end up on the right side. On the interior, Justin Blaylock is a guy that I like, very solid competitor. And also Joe Hawley is another very good guard on the interior. So you look at what they bring to the table. Kyle McClure doesn't get old at center, 14th year in the league out of LSU. They call him the Mud Duck. But I like the depth behind these guys. They just got to get more production out of guys like Mike Johnson. They draft Lamar Holmes out of Southern Miss. He's going to play left tackle. And Tyson Claiborne is a guy that does have that versatility, can play left or right tackle. But the Falcons right now have questions on the offensive line. And if they can't protect Matt Ryan, then everything else will fall to the wayside, because that offensive line is vital to the Falcons' success. The defensive line is another unit on this Falcons team that I have questions about. John Abraham is one of the premier pass rushers that we've seen in the league. The problem is he has those injury concerns. He's in his 13th year. He's probably going to be used more as a situational guy rather than an every down defensive end. That's why they need a guy like Ray Edwards to come in and be a pass rusher. Yes, he's stout against the run, but they didn't bring him from Minnesota to be a run stuffer. They need him to get after the quarterback. Corey Bierman is a guy that has a lot of athleticism, and he's a swing guy, a depth guy. But they really need to get to the quarterback this year in order to have some success. Now, when you look on the interior, you see some guys with some talent. Jonathan Babineau played last year injured, but still was able to provide some pass rushing ability. And Corey Peters is a guy that has the strength that you want at the position. And they also have some depth guys, Pariah Jerry, and they drafted another young rookie in Jonathan Massaquoi at defensive end. But it'll be interesting to see how new defensive coordinator Mike Nolan gets these guys in position to get to the quarterback, because we know the Falcons were outstanding in stopping the run last year, 6th in the league. The linebacking core will look just a little bit different this year. They lose Curtis Lawson to the rival Saints, but that doesn't mean they don't have talent. Remember, last year I thought they had the best linebacking core in the league, and that's led by Sean Weatherspoon. This guy is a ferocious hitter, a lot of speed to the position, great sideline-to-sideline type of guy. And they do bring back Steven Nicholas, another outstanding linebacker. So they're going to get production out of those two guys. Now, the third guy is where you have some questions. Can Akeem Dent step up and be the linebacker that'll take Curtis Lofton place, or can they get something out of Lofa Tatupu? Quiet as kept. They bring over Tatupu, and if he's healthy, he can really get to the quarterback. He can stop the run. I like his pass coverage ability. So if Tatupu checks out medically and Dent shows he can handle the load, then this Falcons team, this linebacking core, won't miss a beat. The much maligned Falcons secondary comes into this year with a lot of optimism, and I actually like the Falcons secondary. I liked them last year, sans the Giants playoff game. I'm pretty sure they want that game erased from their memory, but you look at what they have already on the roster. They have a young guy in Brent Grimes. He's 29 years old. They got him the contract. He's one of the best man-to-man corners they have on the roster. But in comes Asante Samuel from the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a guy that excels in off coverage, man type of coverage off the football, and does a great job of reading and reacting to the quarterback. Yes, he may take some chances, but he will come away with a lot of interceptions. And Dante Robinson now moves to a nickel corner where he's going to excel, I believe. He's going to do a great job in tight man-to-man press type of coverage on the slot wide receivers. So they have some talent now at the corner. They look a lot better. The safety position is promising. Diamonds Decoud is another guy that plays with intensity, plays fearless. And William Moore is one of the most hard-hitting safeties that you can find in the league. So the Falcons secondary went from a weakness to a strength by just bringing over Asante Samuel and sliding everyone down in that cornerback position one slot. One thing you can say about the Atlanta Falcons is that they don't beat themselves. This is a team that's very well disciplined. They run the football well. They own the short to intermediate passing game. On defense, they can stop the run. They're active against the pass, and they don't get a lot of penalties. So this is a team that's going to be in every ball game. They have the talent. They have the ability to make a run deep in the playoffs. They just have to open up the playbook, and if they do so, like I said early in this video and throughout this video, this team could be dangerous because they have the talent already in place. Now, a cause for concern has to be the new coordinators. They bring over a new offensive coordinator in Dirk Cutter, and this was an offense that was pretty good. So how that will affect the entire offensive unit. And on defense, they bring over a new defensive coordinator. You look at, they bring in Mike Nolan, a guy that has a lot of familiarity with the 4-3, but he's a 3-4 type of guy. So can this defense adjust to the schemes that he's going to try to implement? And that's the biggest question, the coordinators, not the talent on the roster, the guys calling the plays. If they can get everybody on the same page and get them going quickly, then they won't miss a beat defensively. I have this team finishing 3rd in the NFC South this year. I'm still questioning what they're going to do on the offensive line. I still have some questions about their consistency right there, and they have to find another pass rusher. This is an ongoing theme for the Falcons defensive line. Who's going to help John Abraham get to the quarterback? But they have to answer those questions in order for me to move these guys up. But when you look at the Falcons as a whole, a team that's very disciplined, they don't beat themselves, so they're going to be in a lot of ball games. So this number 3 can easily be number 2 or even number 1 with some breaks. But right now I have them finishing behind teams like the Saints, teams like the Panthers. But this will be a tough team throughout the course of the season. A few games here and there, and this team could be back in the playoffs.